now tuned into Saturdays with Mikesha, and of course, I am your host. I go by the name of Keisha Love. I'm with the Underground Loop, and I am here with the president and CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center, the Mr. DeVone Holt.
How you doing, ma'am?
Hey,
Thank you for having me here.
you are so definitely.
Everybody else gets the interview. I finally get a chance to sit
I
down with you too.
know. I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm so late,
That's all
but
right.
it's better late than never.
We are right on time.
So, how many months has it been? Well, how long has it? Has it been months or years?
Yeah, it's been months. I started in July, and so we're coming up on 6 months. Can you believe that?
No.
Can you believe that? No, 5 months. 5 months.
But still,
But still, I agree.
geez,
Right?
that's so fast.
It's been the fastest 4 or 5 months of my career, and it's been incredibly busy. I started at the Muhammad Ali Center on a Tuesday. On that Wednesday, I was on a flight with Loni Ali out to the ESPY Awards.
Yes, you were.
And so the rest of that time has been just like that. It's just been so fast, so evolving, so much activity that it's been difficult to catch my breath because it's just one amazing thing after another.
Talk about a day two.
I know, right?
Yeah, because I noticed that you had the celebration,
Mhm.
and then you were gone at an award show. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, we just hit the ground running. It was really all of these things, these stars were aligned where just as soon as I was ready to start, we had the ESPYs, we had an event, a gala in Los Angeles like 2 weeks later.
Hmm.
Um, we went back for another event in Seattle, and then another event in Los Angeles, New York City. I mean, it just on and on and on. And then just a few weeks ago, we had our humanitarian awards where we had Shaq, Brian Stevenson, Al Rogers, Don G, and some others who were recognized. And so it's been a whirlwind, but it is indeed my dream job. I'm living my dream.
And that's what you say. That's what I've
Yeah,
heard you say in multiple other interviews. That this is your dream
it
job. So
is.
before this, you were at Goodwill
Yeah,
for like 5 years, I
5 years,
think.
5 years.
That went by fast
It
too.
did. It did indeed. A lot of big, heavy work there. Probably to this day, the most meaningful work I've ever done. And I was really proud of what we accomplished at Goodwill. I was there for 5 years. While I was there, we started a high school for adults, the very first in the state of Kentucky. It's called the Excel Center. I was proud to launch that and serve as superintendent. And while we were doing that, we were also working to build this um, 20-acre campus on the corner of 28th and Broadway.
That's a $120 million campus.
That's $120 million that
You
people
helped build that.
I did indeed, and I'm probably proud of the fact that we did it where we did it at
Mm.
28th and Broadway, in the community where I was born and raised. Where there were a lot of people, Keisha, who told me that that probably wasn't likely to happen. There were literally people who laughed when I told them that I had a vision of building a $120 million campus on the corner of 28th and Broadway, who thought there would never be that kind of an investment in that community. And so now I have the last laugh.
They must not know who you were.
And didn't know how determined I was to bring something good to the hood. And that's indeed what we were able to do. And so I drive by there now, intentionally now, every
Right.
every chance I get, wanting to see the building. And I got this incredible surprise that I didn't know was coming, but Metro Council said they wanted to rename 28th Street DeVone Holt Way. And so when I drive by there now, I get a chance to stop and pause and point up to the corner and tell my son, "Look at that." So some great work done there on the corner of 28th and Broadway. I'm really proud of it. We cut the ribbon, and just a few months later, I realized it was time for me to go find my next challenge, and that was when I
It
landed
was
at the
like you
Ali
built it. I
Center.
did it, and you moved on to your dream
Yeah,
job.
yeah. It's like I tell folks, it's like LeBron James winning a championship with Miami and then getting a chance to go back to Cleveland, right? Where he's from, his home. It's like he
Mm.
went back to the place where it all started, the place where he had a great affinity. And for me, that's the Ali Center. Ali was my hero growing up. He's the champ. We're from Louisville, so we get really this unique opportunity to understand Ali in ways that the rest of the world don't really have a chance to. My aunts and grandmother went to school with Muhammad. He Cassius then, and they tell me all these incredible stories about him in high school and in the neighborhood, and so he was more than just the boxer to me. I really had a chance to understand who he was beyond that, and the impact that he had on not just the world, but more specifically right here in Louisville, Kentucky, the Parkland community, West Louisville, where he was raised, where I was raised. And so being able to help manage the legacy of a man who is recognized as the second most recognizable face on the planet Earth, second only to the Michelangelo painting of Jesus Christ. Muhammad Ali is the most recognizable face on the planet Earth, the most photographed human being to ever live. Muhammad Ali, right here from West Louisville, and I get a chance to help manage his legacy, which is so much more than him as a boxer, right? He built this career. I tell people he built a career of knocking people out, but he built a life of lifting people up. That's what he really ultimately used the rest of his life to do after he
Mhm.
finished boxing. And so now I get a chance to help people from literally all around the world understand this impact and how he used his platform to make the world a better place for other people. That's a dream job for me because don't tell the board of directors, don't tell Lonnie this, but this is work I would do for free because it's aligned with who I am. I
Mm.
tell people, I tell people there's no separation in who I am and who I need to be as CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center. They are perfectly aligned, and it gives me fuel when I wake up in the morning that I get a chance to step into this work that I would have done naturally anyway. So it's a beautiful next step for me.
That is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeez, you must just be on fire.
Well, I will tell you, it's been an incredible couple of years. I don't take it for granted, but about a year and a half ago, I got to marry the love of my life.
I saw you on the wedding video, and I was like, oh my God. The way she talked about you in the beginning
It's
was
my baby.
so beautiful.
It's my baby.
I should
So
have stopped and just prayed. It was really beautiful.
well, so we've got a mini documentary coming out on
Oh my
in
gosh.
of the wedding and the love story. It's coming out Valentine's
I was going to
Day.
say Valentine's.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So we'll be able to share that with the world. But I did that about a year and a half ago. Um, uh, I cut the ribbon on this facility at 28th and Broadway. Um, was given an honorary doctorate by Simmons College of Kentucky, had a street named after me, and then went and landed my dream job, all in about a year and a half. And that is, I tell you what, I don't know that it can get any better. So I'm incredibly blessed. I don't take it for granted, but I will tell you, I have worked very hard to get to where I am and to do what I'm able to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how the people that didn't believe in Goodwill, I don't, they must not have known you because even what you did with the chamber, how
Oh
many jobs
wow.
you created and how much investment in businesses, made
Yeah.
investments that, I mean, just seeing that, that's why they must not have known you because that was right before Goodwill.
I got a chance to do some incredible work here at the Chamber of Commerce as the title was West Louisville Economic Development Director, and so in that role, I was really this Pied Piper who was focused on um, doing what I could to revitalize West Louisville by getting businesses to either relocate to West Louisville or
Mhm.
getting the ones who are here to grow and expand. And that was challenging because at the time West Louisville didn't have the momentum that it has now,
Mhm.
and so I spent about 7.5 years in that particular role, and then a few more years in a sort of tangential role. But there was just trying to sell West Louisville, and we did. It wasn't as sexy as what we've done at 28th and Broadway, and some of the other work that I've done. It was a grind, but it was incredibly impactful in creating jobs in a way that people were able to um, uh, take on mortgages and send their kids to college. Again, none of this work is sexy, but it was meaningful and it was life changing. And I think we got a chance to stabilize people in our community in ways that didn't make the headlines. They didn't
Mhm.
land themselves on, the news at 6 o'clock, but it was meaningful, it was impactful, and it helped me really build this foundation and start to understand what our community needed. The I would say that the advantages of this community that people consistently overlook, I was able to really start to build a case for why people should invest in
Mhm.
West Louisville, and built a runway that I think now we're starting to benefit from. I will tell you, it's funny. There was a lady who watched the building at 28th and Broadway go up, and she had heard some about the work that I'd done previously, and she said, it just feels like this is an overnight success. And I said, well, if you consider a 20-year journey of championing this community overnight success, then that was the case. But it was not overnight. This was work that was a grind for years, decades, literally decades. But this is my community. This is where I grew up. This is where I have my fondest memories. This is where the people I love, the institutions I love, are rooted in. And to be really clear, this is where I still call home. I live in West Louisville. I could live a lot of other places, but I've made it my choice to call West Louisville home because I need people to recognize that there's value in this community and that you don't have to run to some other part of the community in order to feel like you've made it and that you've done well. I feel like I've done incredibly well, and I still call West Louisville my home and have no desire to go anywhere else.
Mm.
This is
Yes.
home.
I want the same for myself. My
Mhm.
dream. I want to buy a home in West Louisville as well. I just found out about the Fuller House.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, I just
yeah,
found out about them the other
yeah,
day, and
yeah,
so they help you buy a home
yeah, yeah.
at a very low price
Right.
right in the West
They
Louisville,
can.
and they redo the homes.
They do an incredible job. I know the executive director there. She's an incredible woman who's been committed to this work for years and helping people not just buy houses, but find value in building houses in this community. And I don't
Hmm.
take that for granted because I think a lot of people feel like, again, that if they are going to be deemed successful, it means finding a home somewhere
Far, far
else.
away.
Yeah. And for me, and I think there's a few other people who I know for certain could buy homes and live other places and have made it their choice to be
Hmm.
rooted in West Louisville. And so I need that to be the
I'm one of those
example that
people,
people
by
see.
the way. So I dream of my. I love a good West Louisville home.
Yeah.
I
Oh, it's
mean,
nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
so that's
Yeah.
my dream.
So the next thing we've got to do is get us a few more grocery stores and a few more retail stores here in West Louisville, so we don't have to drive
Emphasis
so
on the
far.
groceries,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, we've got a handful,
Yes.
we've got a few, but I think we need a little bit more variety, and then a little bit more retail. And I will tell
Mhm.
you, and this is gonna sound, just hear me out. But I say this is a measure of success for me.
Okay.
It's when I'm able to buy underwear for myself in West Louisville. There's
Now we
nowhere.
got we got City Trends.
Can you buy underwear in
I'm
City?
looking up
I
in the
you can't
sky.
buy underwear in
They got
City
socks.
Trends. Does he have socks there?
They
I
got
need
socks.
I need I need boxers and t-shirts. When I can buy boxers and t-shirts in West Louisville, I will feel like we've made a tremendous step because that means there's sustainable retail that's popped up in our community.
Mm, and then we got our usual Family Dollars.
And I don't even
Uh,
know I don't know that you can buy underwear in Family
you know
Dollar.
what I think? I think you can do it at both of those places,
Can you?
but they're never there.
I've not seen. I've been there, and I won't pretend that I shop there regularly,
Well,
but
maybe
but
not.
but I've not seen them the last
And we get
few
some
visits.
underclothes in the West End, y'all. We get some
Let's
undergarments.
get some undergarments. Give me some boxes and some t-shirts, and I feel like I'm in a much better position in West Louisville.
All
But
right.
I'm here. I'm rooted either way. I'm rooted
I
either way.
really love that.
This is home. We're not
Ah,
going anywhere.
mm, ah,
Yeah.
okay. So what are some of your plans for the Ali Center?
So, this Holly Center just recently celebrated 19 years here in this community. And I remember when it opened, it was just
It
so
was so beautiful.
beautiful, right? It was spectacular. You had all these celebrities who came to town and
Hmm.
there's this big celebration. And then after that, you had folks coming from all around the world, and they still do. But there was a disconnect from the community, I felt after that. And I can say that because I've lived in this community and I appreciate the Muhammad Ali Center, but it didn't feel like that there was this embrace of the community and vice versa. And I'm community. And so for me, I need to make sure that we have a strong relationship with the place Muhammad called home. Not just this idea that his center is housed in Louisville, but a connection to the place he called home, and more specifically, West Louisville. And so, one is making sure that we build those relationships, we build out programming, we build out events that welcome the community back into the Muhammad Ali Center. So,
Yeah.
know that that is being done very intentionally for 2025 and beyond. We're going to be looking for ways to do that more. That's one of the big ones for me. Then the other one is, so if you think about the Muhammad Ali Center, if you walk through it like I did today, I spent time in there on the weekends. I love to see the people who come from all around the country. Today, I spent some time at the center and I watched this family there walking around, having a good time. And I left the center and I went to Muhammad's gravesite.
I was going to mention that, and
Yeah.
that's just crazy how you just happen to
Well,
go to the site,
I tell you, it's one of the most
be the
peaceful
center.
places. And, I will sit and I will talk to Muhammad while I'm there, and talk about the vision, talk about the work, talk about the purpose, and there's a sense of connectedness that happens when I'm there, and a sense of clarity around the work that I'm doing that I'm able to pick up when I'm there. But today, while I was there, uh, this family that I saw at the center, they pulled up after I had been there for about 20 minutes. And I saw them get out and they said, "We saw you at the center." I said, "Yeah." And I told them I was the CEO. And they were really excited. There was a family from Atlanta that came, husband and wife, two daughters and a son. They were here in town for another event. And I will tell you, this center does an incredible job of attracting people from around the world, here in the States, but also from around the world. It is an international center that I believe, from what the folks from Atlanta just told me today, is incredibly meaningful because it tells this holistic story of Muhammad. But if you've been to the Muhammad Ali over the last 19 years, a lot of those exhibits still look the same because they've been there for quite some time. They're meaningful, impactful, and I think they tell a beautiful story, but they've been there for a while. So part of what I'm working on is for November 2025, we're going to launch a new vision for the Muhammad Ali Center.
Mm.
So we're going to be updating the building. We're going to be updating portions of the facility, updating the exhibits. I want to build out a campus and not just have a building that people enter to experience the Muhammad Ali Center. There will be this whole campus that gives life to Muhammad's legacy at the Muhammad Ali Center. And so we're going to launch that vision in 2025. We're preparing for it now. And on our anniversary in November 2025, we're going to introduce to the world a new vision for the Ali Center that really builds on his legacy, that is designed to foster respect, that's designed to inspire the next generation of change makers, and to advance social justice causes. And so those are the things that the Ali Center will be centered around. And when I tell you we're going to go big, the saying is go big or go home. We ain't going home. We are going very, very big. And we're already having conversations with people, not just here locally, not just nationally, but you've got to remember Muhammad is a global icon,
Mm.
literally a global icon. And so there are people in the Middle East, there are people in Europe, there are people literally all around the world who are moved and inspired by Muhammad. So just this week, and this is not an exaggeration, I was talking with some folks from Saudi Arabia, talking to some folks from Dubai, talked to some folks from Afghanistan who are all vested in seeing this next era of the Muhammad Ali Center grow. So when I tell you we're going to go big, we're tapping into resources from literally all around the world. And we're about to do something in Louisville that this community's never seen before.
Mm. So, not to mention, You are the first person from Louisville to hold this
Right.
position.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that something?
That is above and beyond something.
Well, so, there's some people who've been in this role who had experience managing museums.
Mm,
And I get that.
hmm
And so there's not a lot of people in the Louisville market who have that experience. But what they realized was there was some disconnects
hmm
in the people who were in those roles who weren't connected to Ali's legacy, who weren't connected to this community, and didn't truly understand what it means for this center to be the preeminent place that celebrates a black man from West Louisville. Think about that. There's not another museum that exists on planet Earth more prominent than the Muhammad Ali Center that's designed to celebrate the life and legacy of a black man. 96,000 square feet of excellence, 96,000 square feet of greatness geared around six core principles that a black man used to live his life:
Mm,
confidence, conviction, dedication, giving, respect, and spirituality. Those are the founding principles, the core principles that Muhammad Ali used to live his life. And we've built the center around those six core principles, and those are the ones that we've got to breathe life into, the world, this community. And I get a chance to do that as a Louisvillian, as someone who's been able to see it up close and personal and give life to it in new ways, so this next generation that's coming up don't lose sight of what it means to have something like this in their own backyard.
mm.
I know,
Because
it's a lot.
it's remarkable
Mhm.
the journey you get to go on
It is.
and the
I
impact you get to
pinch
have.
myself.
And that's how I feel. I'm just like, wow.
I pinch myself. The calls we take on a regular basis, the conversations we get to have, the access that we get to have, the doors that open when you say you're with the Muhammad Ali Center. So I'll tell
I'm
you.
telling you, as soon as you got this position, it's like you went on tour.
Doors open. It's amazing. So when I went to the when I went to the ESPYS with Lonnie,
hmm
Lonnie is royalty. I will tell you, Lonnie gets treated like, especially in the sports event arenas that we go to.
She is wonderful.
Oh, she's beautiful. I love Lonnie to death. She's royalty. She really is. She's royalty for us. And we go to these places, especially early on. Nobody knows DeVone Holt, right? Maybe a few people here around Louisville might know who I am. But when I go to the ESPYS and you got all these
Mhm.
A-list celebrities, they see me
And that's
sit,
and then Miss Lonnie.
and then they see me sitting next to Miss Lonnie. They think I'm a seat filler at the ESPYS is what they think. But here's what happens, and I will tell you, this is a true story. So we're at the ESPYS, and you've got to sit in your seat while the show is on, and commercial breaks, you can run out to the restroom. But if you're not back in time, like when I go to the restroom, as soon as I get up, somebody will come sit in my seat, so that when the show comes back on, none of the seats are empty. So they've got hundreds of people that are literally there just to fill seats for when people run to the restroom.
hmm
And so I go to the restroom, and I'm going out. Lamar Jackson, our very own Heisman Trophy award winning football player from the University of Louisville, he and I going out. Now, Lamar doesn't know me from Adam, but, I say, Lamar, what's up, from Louisville, Kentucky? He's like, hey, man. And he and I run it back and forth the opposite ways from the restroom. And he heard somebody say, the Ali Center. He said, "You with the Ali Center?" I said, "Yeah, I just became the CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center." He made a U-turn and came back around to have a conversation about doing something here in Louisville when the season's over, because he has just this respect and admiration for Muhammad. But think about that. He didn't know me from Adam, but when he heard Muhammad Ali, he made a U-turn.
Oh yeah.
And I can give you 1,000 more examples of people who did the same thing when they hear about DeVone Holt being the CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center. You get Michael Irving, Hall of Famer with the Dallas Cowboys, RG3, Allen Iverson. I mean, these are folks, when I'm in these spaces and having conversations with them about what I'm planning and what we're wanting to do, they literally took my phone. These are Hall of Famers. They took my cell phone from me, opened up my contacts, and all of them put their contact information in and passed it around the room so that I could make sure that I had access to them so that we could continue to build this legacy that Muhammad Ali left us.
Dang. I guess you better get used to that.
Pinch myself.
You better get used to that.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh
amazing.
God.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Look, I always feel like I have to have a brief pause every time you speak. It's like, wow,
It's a
take it
lot.
in.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
So
lot.
I grew up in Shepherd Square.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I feel like, ooh, so
Yeah.
we were in the same projects.
Yeah.
So, I can do this.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely. You can. You can. You can.
It's just amazing.
Well, and so here's the beautiful thing that I've been able to learn over the course of my career. And I will tell you, I've been incredibly fortunate to have access and exposure to see, learn, and do things that I recognize not everybody gets a chance to do. But here's what I will tell you I've learned along the way. Every once in a while, you'll find yourself in room and space with someone, Keisha, who's incredibly exceptional, like
Hmm.
who's next level. And don't get me wrong, there are folks who fit that profile. But by and large, when I get behind closed doors in these meetings and these high profile places with these high profile people, you start to realize really quickly, oh, you just about as average as I am.
Just like me.
I mean, maybe, and average is maybe not the right word, but you're not you're not overwhelmed by some sort of special uniqueness, meaning that I leave those meetings and I leave those rooms, and then I come to West Louisville and I encounter young people with the same qualities, with the same abilities, and they just haven't found out that they have the same abilities that these people that I get a chance to experience have. They don't know yet how great they are. And so that's part of what I'm committed to in this role is helping especially young black boys realize that they might have a lot of challenges. And there are a lot of challenges that are facing young black boys in 2024. But I'm convinced that their greatest challenge, the absolute greatest challenge that young black boys have, is that they don't know how great they are.
They just don't know.
They've they've succumbed to the lie that they are inferior. They've succumbed to the idea that they have to be one of these two, three, four, five things.
Hmm.
You got to be a rapper. You got to be a baller. You got to be what? You got to be these
The only
things,
thing they see.
the things that they see, and they need to be exposed to something bigger. I call it the greatest era of fear that's ever existed. Fear is in an acronym, FEAR. Young black men subscribe to false evidence that appears real. FEAR. So when they turn on the radio, when they turn on the television, they see these false notions of who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. And part of what I want to use my life and my resources to do is to expose them to who they really are and the potential that they really have to do good and their ability to compete in places where they feel are off limits to them. It's
Hmm.
not. I'm
Hmm.
telling you, when they get in those spaces, when I've gotten in those spaces and I start to learn, oh, this is it. This
Right.
is this is it. I can do that. I
Hmm.
can do that. And once you
Hmm.
learn you can do it, the confidence that you have
Yeah.
starts building. And when you put one foot out and you land and you realize I didn't die, nothing fell apart, and you put another foot out and another foot out, before you know it, you've got this confidence built up about your ability to do any and everything. And that's what my life has been like. And I want these young boys and young girls to get a sense of their own ability to move in spaces like that and compete. Now you got to do the work. You got to put the work in. You got to understand what it means to be successful in those places. You don't just show up without having done the work. But if you do the work, I'm convinced that they can compete in ways that people have convinced them that they can.
And a lot of things really do come down to environment. That's why I really appreciate what you
Yes.
do in the West End.
Hmm.
I know honest to God, really did not know black professional people existed in Louisville until I got maybe 20 years old and I was
Really?
introduced to Mogul magazine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I was like, oh,
yeah. Charles
all these
Rice, Mogul
people. I mean, I
Magazine.
went to church and I saw
Uh,
suits or whatnot, but I had never seen
really?
professional black people.
Exposure's everything.
Yeah.
So Edwin Fox is my godmother's husband. Edwin Fox um, was the first black grocery store owner in Louisville.
Mm.
He built a grocery store on 28th and Virginia, which is Dare to Care now. It used to be a grocery
Mm.
store years ago.
By the meat store.
Exactly,
Oh, it
exactly. It was the meat store.
was
So
the meat store.
so he sold it and but I remember he built that and I was privy to some conversations he was having. He's a black man, and I remember he talked about that being a multi-million-dollar endeavor. And it blew my mind to hear a black man talk about a multi-million
Right.
dollar endeavor who I knew, who I had access and exposure to.
Right.
And he would help me understand that it's possible. And so it was that kind of exposure that helped me start realizing, oh, you don't have to be some rock star, some celebrity. You know, he was an average person to me. He was
Hmm.
somebody I had access to. And when I realized that average people can do exceptional things, it turned on a light bulb for me. And then you then start to see that there are other people who are not on television, who are
Hmm.
not in the newspaper,
Hmm.
but who are doing incredible things and making an impact in ways that we can all learn from. And I started being really intentional about connecting myself to people who were doing great work and learning from them, just soaking it up like a sponge.
Hmm.
And when you get in those places, sometimes you just shut your mouth and you just listen and you just learn. That's all you do.
Soak it up like a
That's
sponge.
what you do. That's what
Mhm.
you do. I will tell you, Donald McDonald is a dear friend of mine who I love so very much. She's been so inspirational and a motivation to me in my career. But when I worked at the Chamber of Commerce, I will never forget she said this. She said, your job when you go work at the Chamber of Commerce, where you get a chance to sit around the table with these CEOs and you get a chance to impact how investment is made and done in this community. She said, your job is to be a spy.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
need you to
That's what I was thinking when you saying that.
be a spy in those places so you can listen, you can learn, and you can bring that knowledge
And
back
bring
to
it back.
our community. And that's exactly what I've done. I've tried to steal every bit I could
I
of
love that
knowledge,
for
and
us.
I want to pour it right back into our community. Yeah, this community is worthy of that.
Yes.
I believe it is, and I see the momentum changing, and it's not happening overnight, but you can see the tide starting to turn, and I'm excited about what I'm seeing and feeling here, knowing now that there's momentum and there's people who are investing in programming and businesses and newspapers
Mhm.
who are telling the story, and
Mhm.
that matters. So kudos to you for making the investment. I
Mhm.
appreciate it too.
God, thank you for liking it. Look, because I remember seeing you at Goodwill when you were at Goodwill. I guess
Uh-huh.
right at the end, and
Yeah.
I had started putting the papers there, and you were just like, "Hey, have you seen the paper?" You were always so supportive, and then you left. I was like, "Oh, where'd he go?" So,
Will
but you've
always be
been
supportive.
supportive ever since you first
Always.
started.
Because I know this is not easy.
Mm.
I know this is hard work. I know it's a grind. And people will see it and hopefully appreciate it. But I need them to do more than appreciate it. I need them to support it. I
Mhm.
need them to share it. I need them to invest in it. And so you'll get that from me every time because I know that this is more than a notion. And I know that this production that we're in right now is more than a notion. You committing to this work and this show for years is a commitment. So kudos to you because you make it look easy, but I know that this is work.
It is work.
This is work.
Yeah, because you had a show for 10 years. You
I did. I
said.
had a show for 10 years. Now, the difference between my show and your show was that I had a radio show, so
I was going to say it
I
wasn't.
could look like a bum when I did my show. You come out like you're ready for the runway. But I loved it. I loved it.
Well, that goes back to thank you for that with the
Hmm.
paper, but that goes back to what you said earlier. You wake up doing something that you would do for free.
Hmm.
And so I was going to say, I needed a job. I need a job. I would like
Oh,
a job, and I would like to have a job that I would do for free. And
that's it.
that's what the paper is to me. Of course, I can't live off free, but I love
Right, right.
doing this. paper.
which is why we've got to invest in support. Yeah, which
And
is
I love doing these interviews. I just couldn't interview everything and because there's so much positive news in
mhm.
Louisville. I just couldn't visibly interview everybody.
And somebody needs to be vested in telling those stories because
Hmm.
and I've got some friends literally at every media outlet in this city. Literally every media outlet I can pick up the phone and call somebody. But part of what I know about some of those is the story. If it bleeds, it leads, right?
Hmm.
And so they go with a whole lot of stories that are based and rooted in trauma.
Hmm.
And to find
Hmm.
stories that are the antithesis of that are positive and tell meaningful stories that inspire people and motivate people and tell stories that give life and not speak death, I think are um, media outlets we need to invest
Because
in.
the good always gets swallowed up,
It,
and it's like, but there's nothing to do. There's no resources.
Well, and then there's people who would say, well, help us understand what those stories are. They're all around us. We
There.
just need somebody who will invest in telling them. So
Hmm.
we're supporting you. We're supporting you. The Ali Center will, the Hope family will, and anybody else in my network who's in earshot of me will be told that that's what we need to do as a community.
Well, so
Yeah,
much shout out to the Lou. Even though this is not about the Lou, but while we're here, make sure you subscribe
that's right.
at theundergroundlou.com. You can
Hmm.
subscribe for free. We're almost at 7,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's a big
It
deal.
is.
That's
We
a
have
big
it
deal.
is. We have 50 locations. We want more, but
Okay,
we just need more drivers and more funding for drivers. But we're already in 50 locations. I had to stop there. But everybody wants the paper.
that's a big
Everybody
deal.
wants
That's a big
it. It
deal.
is.
That's a big deal. It
So yes.
is. So talk to me about, and I'm interviewing you now. Talk to me about the difference between the print version and a digital aspect of the news, because so many people now get content on their phones and iPads and
Hmm.
computers. Tell me how you balance that.
So we are working on the app for
Hmm.
next year. So I do
Okay.
want an app for the Lou.
Ah, I love that. I
Yay! But
love
I
it.
know a lot of people still like paper. I
I
love
do.
paper.
I do too.
Right.
I
I'm
do
one of those
too.
too. I get it from my grandmother. She would always read the paper with her magnifying glass, and
Mhm.
I just love paper. Um, but the difference is, for one, the paper is outside. So people can't, you're not just finding things on the internet all the time. When
Right.
you're outside, it's bright yellow.
Yeah, it
I mean,
stands out. It stands out.
it's bright yellow. And a lot of people that aren't even, you may not see it online.
Yeah.
So just to see it in person. And online though does have all the back issues. It
Okay.
has a little bit more information,
Okay.
and we're working on revamping it for next year because last year we added a second page for the first time, and it really blew up. And I was going
Yeah.
to add a third, but I'm a little busy now, so instead I'm going to focus on just the look of it and then the website and
Good.
just making it better. And we added an event page
Okay.
on the website where there's a calendar, so we're going to be adding events
Oh,
in for all
good.
2025.
Good.
Because
Good.
right now
Good.
it's just, you see this paper, but then, the next one has a whole new set of events. So
Right.
now we can
Right.
schedule them for the end of the year and just more on
Don't
the
stop.
website.
Don't
Just
stop.
more. I
Don't
just have
stop.
so many
Don't stop.
ideas.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. We're going to invest in you. Hmm.
And we do need interns. So if you know someone
It's a great
willing to help out with the
opportunity.
volunteers, or
Great
even better.
opportunity.
So no,
Yeah.
no, enough about me. This is not about me. But back to you. So we have your vision for the Ali Center.
Yeah.
Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, I tell people there are people who are thankful, happy that I'm at the Ali Center, and I love that. And they ask me how to support the Ali Center,
Mm.
and I tell them there's three ways you can support the Ali Center. One is show up, right? Be there, come visit us, come check us out.
But you have free family days.
Yep,
I put them
yep.
in the paper all
We've
the time.
got one coming up in January, so next month.
See, I feel like they're what, maybe every other month. I feel like
We
they're
try to do them
pretty
quarterly,
often.
but we probably will have a few more this year in 2025. So show up. That's one. The other one is I say speak up. In other words, talk about the Ali Center. So you
Mm.
you see us online, like, share, repost, tell somebody to come visit us.
Take pictures when you go.
That's right. Do all of those things to help tell the story about the Ali Center. So you show up, you speak up, and then the third one is cough up some money to support us financially.
Because I get your emails, and always at the bottom, it always says, "Click here
Give
to
is
donate."
donate. And so, and the reality is, I mean, it is it's a nonprofit organization that has to be fueled by resources in order for us to do our work. And
Hmm.
so we've got some donors who support us, but we are always looking for more because I want to do more. And so this vision is big. Our programming that I want us to do, and leveraging Muhammad's ability to galvanize people so that we can bring people together from different backgrounds, different ideologies, different religions, and come around the table and have real meaningful conversations about how we solve problems in this community. And I think we are uniquely positioned at the Ali Center to do that. And so in 2025, you'll see us invested in that work. But I need the community to invest so that we can build the resources necessary to help make those things happen.
Good. And
Mhm.
I'm glad that I could get you on. I have to have you come back next year so we can talk about the launch of the.
Yes,
So,
yes,
because a lot
yes.
of times people don't know, and that's
Yeah,
what my job is to make sure people know.
I want them to know. So you tell me when you need me back because we're going to yell this from the highest mountain. I want the community to know, to be aware, to be engaged, and know that the Muhammad Ali Center is there. So it's not just something for the world to experience. This is ours, and I
Hmm.
need us to be invested in its success as well.
You're just the perfect person. It takes someone to really be from the area that to really care about it the way it needs to.
Well, I do. It's when I left Goodwill, I determined that this is my next best work. This is the next best thing that I could do, and I'm not going to stop until I've done it to the best of my ability. So we got a lot more to do. It's
You
coming,
just get started.
just getting started, just getting started. But I feel the need to move faster because um, November 2025 will be here before you know
I
it.
know. It's like
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah, it
Little do
is.
we know.
It feels like it for me. So I'm on a mission to get us ready for a beautiful launch and an unveiling of this new vision for the Ali Center that people can really see. So we'll have renderings and all of that ready after we go through this process of getting really clear about what it is we want this space to look like, feel like, and do for people when they enter it. So you give me a few months and we'll get this thing ready for launch.
Okay. And now, before we go, I wanted to ask: Is there? Tell us something about you. This is not a serious question.
Mhm.
You got
Okay,
very serious.
okay, okay, okay.
Tell us something about that we may not know that would surprise us.
Um, Muhammad Ali, I told you, is my hero, so that's not a surprise. But I tell people, there are two people who, all my life, and I mean all my life, have moved me, inspired me, and have really kind of spawned this study of greatness. So one of the things that I've been committed to, and I'm working on, I don't know if it's a book, a documentary, I don't know,
Mm,
but I study greatness in people, places, experiences. What does it mean to be great? How do you create something that's great? I study it, and there are two people that have stood out in my life as I've studied greatness. Muhammad Ali is one obvious one.
hmm.
The other one is Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, the
the
two greatest.
uh, Michael
Because I
is
thought the first person, you said the most liked imaged or the most
most recognized.
recognized. I thought the first one was Michael
No, 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 no,
Jackson.
no, not no. Michael Mike, I don't know where Michael ranks, but
He's up there.
he's got to be up there. But Muhammad's top. But Michael, when you study greatness, um, has been great in his craft since he before he was a teen. So think about that. Until the time he died, he was an example of greatness. So people don't know that I've studied greatness in that way, and have tried to embrace those aspects of greatness that I see in other people. And it's not just how you show up on stage. That's the easy part. Being able to truly understand greatness and live out greatness in your life, it really is less about what you do when you're on stage and in the bright lights like we are
Mm,
now. It's about what you do when nobody's watching.
that discipline.
It's about what you do when the lights are turned off, when you're by yourself, nobody's watching. You have the ability to make all kind of choices. That's where greatness is built.
That is so true.
That's where greatness is built.
Not this little bitty part that shows up to the public.
Exactly. Exactly. It is. That's what that's about. And so folks probably don't know that that's what I've committed myself to. And being at the Ali Center is an extension of that. That I get a chance to dig even deeper into this notion of greatness. And I know that when I leave the Ali Center, be it 20 years from now, there will be a greatness something that I will share with the world.
I cannot wait to see the future of the Holly Center.
Oh, it's gonna be
I
beautiful.
mean, 'cause my son's 18 now. Don't do the math, y'all. And
Uh,
we grew up going to the Ali Center all the
Oh,
time.
really? Okay, good. So
Yeah.
he's not lived a life without the Ali Center because the Ali Center is 19 and he's 18. So
Yes.
it's been here all his life.
Yes. I
Yeah,
guess so. And
yeah.
I do remember always seeing it seem kind of the same, pretty
hmm
much. So I'm excited
Oh, it's
to
good.
see.
You're going to get a. So we're going to build immersive experiences in it. There'll be VR experiences. I want people to have uh, these well-rounded immersive experiences that allow them to get a sense of what it was really like to be in
Mm,
Ali's presence.
mm,
And so we're working on this 21st century modern technology embedded into this space moving forward in ways that allow kids to take this social media technological approach to how they live their lives now. Kids are that school, their tools are all built around technology, and so we want to create an experience that speaks to that as well, and allows Muhammad's story to be told in ways that will transcend technology. Yeah.
Look, that sounds so fun to the kids because they can't
Yeah.
live without that
Yeah.
technology.
So we're taking all of that into consideration.
Oh,
So we're
good.
going to build that out in ways that I think will give people beautiful experiences and ways to come back, and then use the space as well. Like we've got theaters and auditoriums. I want us to lean more into this ability that we have to showcase documentaries and movies
Hmm.
that speak to the work that's happening at the Ali Center. So there's this beautiful vision that's going to allow us to bring the world into the Ali Center in new ways that I think this community would be proud of.
Can't wait to talk about it. Look, can't wait to talk about it. The countdown begins, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so now one last question before we go.
Okay.
Two. Jesus.
It's all right.
Okay. So one about the Ali Center, then the other one's kind of personal. So with the Ali Center, what is something that's coming up that we should attend, take part of? I know we
So
missed the humanitarian
we
awards.
missed the humanitarian awards. We will have uh, MLK Day that will be coming up as one of our community free days. So that'll be next month. And we'll invite the community to come in and be part of that experience where we will get a chance to help people remember the story. And it's really about this story of our people overcoming struggle. There
Mm-hmm.
was a role Muhammad played in that. There's
Mm-hmm.
a role that King played in that, and we use our space to tell that story. And I want to invite the community to come in because I want to make sure that this younger generation doesn't lose what it means to know and benefit from where we are now. They get a chance to live a life that I think our ancestors would revel in, but they don't, in many cases, truly understand the sacrifices that were made for them to get to that point. And so I want the community to come to the center on King Day so that we can make sure that that story is told and that they get a real immersive experience in what it means to live a life now of convenience that was built on struggle from decades past.
Yeah, because they're taking a lot of that information out of the schools, which just breaks my
But
heart.
that's why we've got the Ali Center.
My daughter didn't even know. I made her watch something. I don't know if it was Harriet Tubman. It was something the other day. She didn't even know that there were white and black water fountains.
Oh, wow.
Right. That really
Wow.
made me upset.
Wow.
I was
That's why
like,
we've got to
what?
educate the babies. We do, right? Because I don't want them to think that it was always this way. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want them to have to relive struggle and have that part of their everyday existence, but I need them to
I'm gonna need them to
understand. I
understand.
need them to understand that it wasn't always this way, and that there were some people who made some incredible sacrifices for you to enjoy the privileges that you have
And it was
now.
Rosa Parks. That's what we were watching. She was like, I don't want to
Okay.
watch this. Yes, you do. Sit
Yeah,
down.
right,
So,
right, right. Make
yes, you
make
do.
them
Sit down.
watch. Make them
And we
watch.
liked it.
Yeah,
Good.
right. Who knew?
So, right. Okay. And
Mhm,
then my other question for you is, what are all the schools that you went to? I know you went to EKU.
mhm.
And then, so tell me your elementary, middle, and high.
So um I bounced around in a few elementary schools. So I went to King Elementary for a little while. I did.
I don't know why that makes me laugh.
I went to King. I went to Whitney Young,
Oh,
and I went to Crumbs Lane
my
Elementary
mom,
School.
she that was her job throughout my life was at Whitney Young, a custodian,
Oh
and she
wow!
retired
Oh wow! Is
because she
that
worked
right?
herself to death,
Is that
actually.
right?
But yes.
Oh wow! I had beautiful experiences there. Beautiful
Mm.
experiences.
And then middle
And then
school.
middle school, I went to Highland Middle School, sixth, seventh, and the first half of my eighth grade year. And then I was a latchkey kid. And I remember coming home from school one day in the eighth grade. I walked in the front door, and there was somebody running out the back door. At 227 South 39th Street is where we lived. And my mom said, that's enough. Somebody had broken in our house. And so we moved to South Louisville, St. Andrew's Church Road. We lived literally on the corner of the same street where Breonna Taylor was killed. Only back then, there were a handful of black families. Wasn't a lot of Breonna Taylors or Holts or anybody else's out there at the time. It was four black families that lived out there. And so I went from having my life rooted in West Louisville in a black community, in a black
Hmm.
church, all of these black people, to moving out to South Louisville, where I then started going to Stewart Middle School for the second half of my eighth grade year. And that was an eye opening experience, being in that environment as a young black kid. And it um, toughened my skin because it was not the most welcoming place for a
Hmm.
young black boy in that time. But it also helped me build some incredible friendships and helped me learn to navigate worlds where I was the minority, which is
Hmm.
most of the time. Once I left West Louisville, and then I went to Doss High School, uh,
Okay.
Doss Dragons, and left Doss and went to EKU. I was on the 5 year plan. I partied too hard my freshman year, so it took me 5 years to graduate
Ah,
instead of
you
four.
did it. I mean, but I'm happy for you. Good. You had that year of partying
I did. I
fun.
got it out of my
That's
system.
got to be hard to go straight from high school, and then you just got to continue school and
Well,
be
it
serious.
was a blast. And I was, I didn't have a lot of college graduates to point to in my family. Only
Mm.
one or two at the time. And so it was a relatively, brand new experience for me. And so part of that first year was also just kind of figuring it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I did that and got my first job working at the University of Kentucky in the public relations department. And it was off to the races after
Right.
that.
Your first
And
job was in PR.
my first job, I worked in the PR department at UK from '95 to '98, and then UPS Airlines was building their All Points International Hub here in Louisville,
Mm.
and it was called Hub 2000 at the time, and they were expanding their PR department and recruited me to come work for them. That's what brought me back to Louisville in '98. And so I worked in their PR department for a few years at UPS, and I got you getting more than what you asked for. I'm sorry.
Well,
Uh,
I'm sitting here thinking, I feel like everyone from Louisville has worked at UPS in some sort of way.
I will tell you, I thought I was going to retire from UPS. It was one of the best work environments I ever had.
Oh, because you were loading the feeders, like, cause
Well, I will
other
tell.
folks.
I had that experience loading the feeders when I was in college, and so I did that for a while.
Actually, I think it was fun. Now that I look
I,
back,
I, I mean, not something you
we
want to do
did it.
forever, but
No,
it was good to do while you're young,
while
right?
we were
While
younger.
you're young. And so I got an offer to come work for. It was an internet startup company. The internet was booming at the time, and they lured me away from UPS, and I did that, and probably one of the best lessons I've ever learned. I took that job. I was in my mid 20s, and this company offered me six figures to come run their external affairs department. They told me to hire who I wanted to hire, gave me this incredible budget to run it, and I left UPS because there was money. They dangled some money in front of me, and I said absolutely yes.
Okay.
I took the job. 3 months after I took the job, I was absolutely miserable. I hated
Oh.
it. I was just working for money. There was no meaning. There was no purpose.
Oh.
My first two jobs, I was fortunate to be in an environment where I was the young kid in the office, and they were mentoring me, and I had these
Mm.
coaches. And then I went to this high-powered, high-energy place where everything was focused on how much money did we make, how
Mm.
much money did we build, and it was miserable. And I'll never forget how excited I was when this company, it grew too fast, believe it or not. Such a thing of being able to grow too fast, and it grew itself out of business.
Mm.
And so we grew ourselves out of business. And when the doors closed, I was so happy because it gave me a chance to do a reset. And that's when I went to the Chamber of Commerce, and I found this purpose that I was able to leverage my skills in communications and public relations and sales to sell West Louisville.
It all started to make sense.
It all started to come together. And then
Ah.
every job I've had since then has been a job rooted in purpose.
Mm.
Economic development, assistant superintendent at JCPS,
Mm.
workforce development, Goodwill, and now the Muhammad Ali Center, all rooted in purpose. And I will tell you, I think that's the reason I've been able to find so much success in my life and my career is because it's not just me that I find myself working for. Muhammad Ali said something. It's actually on his gravesite. I just saw it before I came here, and it's inside the Ali Center. You'll see it a lot of other places. But he said, service to others is the rent you pay for your space here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the mission work that I've been doing is the rent that I've been paying for my space here on earth.
Ta-da! And look at
Yeah,
the reward.
well, and I'm not even doing it for reward.
But the
It's
reward of your joy. You seem
they.
so
That's it.
at
That's it.
peace,
That's it.
joyful. I would say happy, but it's
Mhm.
beyond happiness.
Yeah, I know what it's.
It's
I
a
know
lot
what
of
it's like to
joy.
wake up and be miserable going to work,
Mm.
and that's not my experience. I love what I do. Now, there's some days that are heavy because it's so much to carry, but it's different. It's not miserable. It's just we got work to do.
Yeah, good thing I love this
Yeah,
job.
exactly. But I love it. I love it. I love it.
Ah, good for
This has
you.
been great.
It
This is
has.
beautiful. Thank you.
You are
Now you
amazing.
are gonna have me back, right?
Oh my gosh, in
Okay.
about 10 months, I would
Okay.
say.
Perfect. That's
Look,
perfect.
that sounds
Because I
good.
have a story to tell. I have a different
Yeah.
story to tell then.
Ooh, I
Yep.
can't
We'll be on it.
wait.
I'm working hard over these next 10 months.
So proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, is there anything you want to say before we go?
I want people to stay tuned to this work. I want people to subscribe to the Underground Lou. I want people to support Black business. I want people to support your local vendors. Do that for us. It's Christmas time here in Louisville, Kentucky. Make sure that you are spending money with people you know, people you love, people who are going to reinvest into you and our community because that's how we sustain this love that we have for our community and the people who are doing good work in it, like Mikesha.
I know that. See, that was real. Of course, it was wonderful. Of course. And if you need somewhere to go shop black, you go to Millionaire Marketplace at St. Bethany
Yes,
Mall. I
yes, you
mean,
can.
it's
Yep.
there every
Hmm.
day
Yep.
now.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then also don't forget to subscribe to the Lou, theundergroundlou.com. And it is time for the Bob Awards, the Black Owned Businesses Excellence Awards.
Mm.
So you can nominate your favorite Black owned business by going to bobawards.com. That's BOBE awards.com. And that's all I
I love
have.
it. Thank
You
you for
were
having me.
amazing. And then it feels all good and nice and sunny
It's
outside.
beautiful. Beautiful day, beautiful interview. Off to a great Saturday.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Saturdays with my Keisha.
Love it.